should never underestimate the power of nature. Our current situation is a humble reminder of that. But nature can also help us in countless ways as long as we work with it rather than against it. I am Sandra Twinoblio here in Kampala, Uganda, and this is Eco Africa. With me today, as always, is my co-presenter in Nigeria.
Hello everyone, I'm Nel Taegbe coming to you from Lagos, Nigeria, and it is good to see you again, Sandra. You see, our transcontinental program is particularly well suited to these days of social distancing. But let's leave that for now and look at what's coming up on the show today. You're never too young to learn about renewable energy and how to generate it, as we will see at a school right here in Nigeria. Many of us tend to imagine island life as paradise, but coastal erosion has put the lives and livelihoods of those in Sierra Leone's Turtle Islands at risk. And we'll meet a man in Mali who is helping his community grow crops that are better adapted to periods of prolonged drought. Have you gotten into the habit of carrying one of this around? A bottle of hand sanitizer. It's amazing how quickly it's become a must-have item, and in many places demand outstrips supply. The good news is the hand sanitizer is fairly easy to make, especially if you already have most of the ingredients you need. Our first report comes from Rwanda, where an entrepreneur saw a way to help our community in these difficult times.
In these days of COVID-19, it helps to be able to improvise. Nelly Uwaneza is a scientist and brewer who lives in Kigali. When she saw how quickly hand sanitizers were selling out, she decided to produce them herself. Nelly's alcohol-based formula contains aloe vera and essential oils.
The hand sanitizer I produce is special because it's made with natural ingredients. Others on the market contain chemicals which can trigger skin allergies in some users. A lot of people can afford my hand sanitizer and it has no side effects.
The first case of COVID-19 was confirmed in Rwanda in the middle of March. Soon after, the run started on hand sanitizers in pharmacies and drugstores.
Our hand sanitizer stocks were depleted at the start of the COVID-19 crisis, and we don't have any left. We're waiting for supplies from the local manufacturer because none are being imported at the moment.
The price for a local high-quality sanitizer like the one from Nelly is around 10 euros for a half a liter. The imported ones cost even more, and stock is short. Those who can't afford sanitizers buy water and soap. While they're effective for washing away the virus, they also cost money. At the water kiosk, prices have gone up, even before the pandemic reached the country. A 20-liter canister can cost up to the equivalent of 20 cents in euros, 4 times more than before. Cleaning the hands has become routine, whether with sanitizer or water. At the markets in the Rwandan capital city Kigali, they mostly use water and soap.
We usually don't use hand sanitizer here, and whoever has some offers it to clients, but they have to pay for it. Then I put some on their hands before entering the market. As not all of us can afford sanitizers, we use what we can get to stay clean.
For now, Nelly Uwaneza is producing 400 to 520 liters per day after her product has passed the necessary tests. But she plans on increasing to her full capacity of 1,000 liters.
I don't consider the coronavirus time to be an opportunity for doing business. This is about helping people. I believe everyone in the world should do anything they can to help find solutions right now. The money I've invested here could have been used in another, more profitable business than this.
The shortage of hand sanitizers is especially hard on health workers, so Nelly also sells to people at the Ministry of Health working in decontamination areas. Some local health centers and hospitals in Kigali are also new clients.
Now, that's just one of many stories about how a little ingenuity can go a long way towards helping a community cope with the coronavirus pandemic. And it also shows that self-sufficiency can be a real asset in times like these. Our next report is about a school we visited last year. Part of its mission is to teach children important lessons about renewable energy. But in this school, they learn more than just theory.
Someone told me what global warming is. Can someone else tell me what climate
These
change
kids have
is?
lots of ideas about what can be done to combat climate change. Burn fewer fossil fuels, ride a bicycle, use solar power. Discussions of this nature are giving high priority at this school.
We want our children to be problem solvers. We want them to be people who are able to look at the environment and not do things the usual way.
School principal Bukola Oluwalade is leading by example. She runs the Abbas Heart School, a private elementary institution not far from Lagos. The principal has had solar panels installed on the roof of the building.
The system works such that we have 224 solar panels, each of them rated at 275 watts. It's supplying the building energy, the AC, that's the air conditioning, the lighting. We have the fans and computers in all the classrooms.
But getting to this point wasn't easy. A sizable investment will be required, but the school was only able to get a bank loan for part of that money.
We had to make it up with our own personal finances and the school finances. So we had the challenge of financing, and we also had the challenge of getting manpower, trained manpower who will understand the setting up of the project, the automation part of the project, and then the maintenance also.
The students have learned that everyone can do their part to ease the burden on the environment.
Instead of burning fossil fuels, you can use renewable energy sources, like solar power, solar panels, wind energy, and hydro power.
Humans should try their best to save the planet. Like, they can take some days without using electrical appliances. Like one of my friends, he said he only uses generators for only 2 days. The rest of the days, he uses solar panels. I think that's what all humans should try to do.
On days where there is little direct sun, the Abbas Heart School is dependent on reserve solar energy stored in batteries. It then has to limit the use of electricity. They will turn down the air conditioning or turn off some of the lights. But by generating its own clean energy, the school is saving money and producing electricity without producing harmful CO2 emissions.
We are way behind in Nigeria in bringing up creative and innovative ideas of protecting our environment and protecting the future of the nation. One of the greatest lessons we have to teach our children in this day and age is how to make the environment a better and safer place.
The example set by the school is teaching the students the importance of protecting the environment in very practical ways. The hope is that they will now share their new insights with others.
Now, decentralized access to energy can make a lot of sense, especially in rural or remote areas. But even that's only part of the story, isn't it, Sandra?
Yes, it is a neater. In fact, it is even better when that power is generated from the green sources. Our next report takes us to Germany, where a village is looking to serve as an example for the rest of the country. It would also be interesting to know if their model would work in other regions as well.
Wildpolsried. None of its energy comes from fossil fuels. All of it comes from renewables.
It's all there in nature. We don't need to take any energy from fossil sources under the ground. Plenty is given to us every day. We just have to make use of it.
Wildpolsried produces 8 times as much electricity as its 2,600 residents can use. All that electricity isn't produced in one big plant, but in a decentralised fashion, and it's then made available to others via the grid. Delegations from the places around the world marked by flags have come to inspect this revolutionary village. They're usually welcomed by Arno Zengeler. He's been involved in the shift to renewables from the start.
In 1999, we asked everybody here how things should be in 2020. Wind energy was just one of many different issues. 92% said they were in favor, which was a sensational result. People here are very proud of what's been developed. Basically, they've done it themselves.
The villagers have invested 50 million euros over the past 2 decades in 300 photovoltaic systems, 9 wind turbines, as well as several hydroelectric and combined heat and power plants.
We want to show that it is possible to create a regional circular economy for energy production and energy use. Of course, it has to make economic sense. So if it yields a profit and we save money, and we're doing something positive for the environment, that's doubly good.
Another father of the green revolution of Wildpolsried is Wendelin Einsiedler. He's a farmer who started experimenting with renewable energy in the 1990s. He soon won over his fellow villagers and set up a wind farm cooperative.
Anyone who lives in the community where a windmill is located can invest. The more people join, the lower the amount each may invest.
Einsiedler has set up 4 biogas plants on his farm. They now heat the entire village. He designed some of the components himself. The energy sources are all local: animal waste and grass silage from 20 nearby farms. They replace 700,000 litres of heating oil a year. Einsiedler says generating energy from biomass alone won't be enough to complete the transition to renewables at the national level. Sun, wind and hydropower are also needed.
With the right mix, it won't be hard to attain 100% renewables. Many people don't believe that, but it's true. The amount of clean energy we produce in Wildpolsried could also be generated in other communities, districts and states.
Energy generation is one key factor. 2 others are energy storage and developing an intelligent grid so power can be moved to where it's needed. The Sonnen company in Wildpolsried addresses both these issues. It makes lithium iron phosphate batteries, which in combination with solar panels enables households to become largely energy independent. It also manages an electricity sharing system it calls Sonnen Community.
Say it's cloudy here, but the sun is shining in Hamburg. Then our customers in Hamburg have energy in abundance. Their batteries are fully charged and they feed the excess into the grid. It can then be used by our customers here.
One small village in Bavaria could inspire other people across Germany and in other countries.
The coronavirus pandemic might be on the forefront of our minds these days, but we still have to cope with the problems we face due to climate change. Fishing communities especially are feeling the impact of extreme weather conditions. In our next report, we visit the Tato Islands of Sierra Leone to see how coastal erosion is affecting local residents and also find out how communities are fighting back.
Just 2 years ago, it was possible for the people of Nyangai Island to walk along this stretch without getting wet. But the rising sea level has split one of Sierra Leone's turtle islands in two. More than half of the island has disappeared. The archipelago was once a bustling fishing community. Now, 500 people have been forced to leave in the past few years because their homes were washed away by floods. One of them is Suleiman Kaba. He has already built 2 houses on the island. Now, even the second one is threatened by rising water. Most of his belongings, he says, have already been carried out to sea.
This is where I grew up, and I have lived all my life here. It's where I built my house. First, the water washed away the last trees, and then it took my house with it. I built another house, but the water will soon take that one too. Now I have left the island and settled on a larger one that's nearer to the mainland.
Suleiman Kaba can't afford to resettle the whole family on the mainland immediately. His wife still lives on Nyangai, and his children are with relatives. Starting a new life is expensive. Most people here live on no more than 10 cents a day. Suleiman Kaba now tries to save some of the money he makes from fishing, so one day the rest of his family can join him. Now he lives on Sherbro Island, but even there he's afraid of flooding. The threat of rising sea levels is very real. A few years ago, waves broke through the flood wall. In order to restore the damaged seashore, the municipality and the government found international partners to finance this large-scale project. And this time, they want to do it better, says the mayor.
We are worried that if we are not proactive to take certain decisions, to restoring the sea face wall and to also ensuring that we maintain our green mangrove cover, it will be disastrous for our people on Sherbro Island.
This new embankment will be almost 2 kilometers long and 1 meter taller than the highest tide measured so far. But there is still a long way to go. Many islanders don't yet understand the danger of deforestation, that tree cover would provide the islands a measure of natural resilience and would slow erosion. Still, people continue to cut down trees, to use as a building material and as a source of energy. It may be illegal, but they see no alternative. Gale Sesai is a fishmonger. As she has no other way to preserve the daily catch, she smokes the fish in a traditional smoking oven, a banda. The wood often burns for days on end. The last time we had visitors from an organization, they promised us a new drying oven, but that was more than 8 months ago, and we have not seen them again. They haven't come back. Now the authorities have started to involve the local population in measures to protect the climate. Mangroves are being planted. Fisherman Alpha Jallo looks in on the young mangrove plants nearly every day. He says the roots will bind the soil and protect it from being washed away in the rainy season.
These mangrove roots will help the ground become stable again. If we don't plant here, the problems will remain. Houses will be lost, and people will have to migrate again.
The mangroves and the embankment project give him hope, says Alpha Jallo. But he knows that a lot more will need to be done to protect the homes and livelihoods of the thousands of people who still live on Sherbro and the smaller Turtle Islands.
Well, let's hope that project succeeds. Our next report is also about dealing with the consequences of changing weather conditions. Drought is a very serious problem in several parts of Africa, and there is no indication that that will change anytime soon. So how can communities adjust to the situation? The mayor of a town in Mali has made it his mission to learn more and also pass his knowledge on to the local farmers.
There's only just enough moisture in the sand for the butterflies, even though the rainy season just ended. Abdoulaye Coulibaly is the mayor of Fana, a town in southern Mali. It wasn't as dry 10 years ago. Now we can't plant rice anymore. If we don't stop chopping down trees, soon we won't have any rain at all. Coulibaly is one of around 3,500 officials in Mali who have taken part in the climate change seminars. These days, protecting the environment is on the agenda of almost every council meeting. Most of Fana's 30,000 residents are poor and subsist on what the land gives them. Cotton is the most important crop here, but growing it takes a lot of water. The Niger River is an important lifeline for Mali and supplies the country with water year-round. But it's too far away for the farmers in Fana. They have to depend on rainwater. Now that rain has become scarce, many local farmers have begun selling charcoal. Mali's dependence on fuel wood and charcoal is a major contributor to deforestation. Faule Fani and his brother Madou are both farmers, and they also operate a small roadside stand. We're not selling charcoal for fun. We know that climate change is real. But what can we do? The land doesn't give us enough to survive on. If we had a choice, we'd stop selling charcoal. But things may be changing, thanks to the new insights the mayor gained at the workshop. Those new ideas have won over Sheikh Mamadou Coulibaly. He and his family run a small farm on just 2 hectares of land. In recent years, their harvests have been too small. Recently, Sheikh Mamadou started planting different crops. Now his family can get by without destroying the forest. The mayor told us that fewer trees mean less rain. That's why I decided to stop making charcoal and start planting trees. I can live from that. I sell trees from my nursery, and I grow eucalyptus trees that I sell for lumber. He's already sold more than 10,000 seedlings. Conservationism has been taking root in Fana ever since the mayor launched his environmental campaign. When I stand here and see this, I get the feeling that we're on the right path when it comes to the fight against climate change. Part of that fight is helping farmers boost their harvests. At the workshop, Mayor Coulibaly learned about new drought-resistant seeds for maize and millet. He knows that people will move away if they don't have enough to eat. We realized that many people in the area were selling their farms and working in the gold mines because their harvests were too small. That's also a consequence of climate change. Mamadou Fomba also thought about throwing in the towel and moving away. His harvests had declined, but thanks to advice from climate change experts, he bought new millet seeds from the capital Bamako. They just needed a single heavy rain to start growing, and that made all the difference. I used to only harvest 1.5 tons of millet per hectare. With the new seeds, I get 3 tons. Mayor Coulibaly knows that his work has just begun. He plans to keep raising climate awareness in Fana so that coming generations will still be able to live here.
It's time to bid you farewell from Lagos, Nigeria. But remember, you can always visit our website or social media platforms to find out the latest from Eco-Africa, including reports on how the coronavirus pandemic is affecting the environment. I'm Neo Taigwe. Take care and see you soon. And that goes for you too, Sandra.
Thank you, Nyota, and a big thank you to all of you, our viewers, for joining us today. Please do continue to look after yourselves, stay safe and healthy. We here look forward to seeing you once again next time. Till then, it is a goodbye from me, Sandra Trinobio, here in Kampala, Uganda.